babe, I am so excited to talk to you about chakras today, but before we get into the information, I wanted to share that this is an exclusive snippet from my Quantum Evolution Academy. The reason that I put this program together in the first place is because people are always asking me, how do I access my Akashic Records? How do I heal my inner children? How do I expand my spiritual gifts and live into my soul mission? How do I become a forefront leader in consciousness expansion? How do I do the things that you do? Okay, with my psychic and channeling abilities and being able to access people's different timelines or their past lives, if you will, and things that are deep within their Akashic records. And there's a lot of different layers to that. How I got there on my journey, working on my central nervous system and processing my emotions, working on self-concept and chakras and inner child healing, learning about how time's not linear, parallel lives, quantum manifestation, soul contracts, karmic lessons, learning about the Akashic records themselves, healing trauma and PTSD, working on my confidence and self-esteem and accountability and determination and my leadership abilities. That's what this program is. It's helping you have a complete identity shift and access higher states of consciousness as we move into this new earth paradigm. It's giving you all the tools and resources you need and a very easy way to understand and implement into your life. We are currently in a round right now, and oh my gosh, it is so much fun. Everybody is experiencing these big celebratory wins from the things that they are learning and implementing into their lives, and I would love to see you in the next round. And so if you'd like to learn more, you can check the description box below, and let's go ahead and jump into what are the chakras. Hey, my beautiful Care Bear, I am so excited to have you here for Chakras Part 1. So this is where we're going to be focusing on the main 7, and in Chakras Part 2, we're going to start talking about the transpersonal chakra system, which includes 12 of our chakras. So I want to share something funny with you, okay? So when I was putting this information together, I was going super extensive and in-depth about not only the chakras, but astral bodies and our auric field and the different layers. And I was like, whoa, that's a lot to put on everyone in 1 week. Okay, so we're going to talk about all of that in Chakras Part 2 because it's a lot going through the main 7 already. Okay, so I just want to give a sneak preview that if you hear some of this terminology within talking about the chakras in this section, we are going to cover that later into the course. Just like with our 4 energy bodies, spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional, it's a lot easier to heal if we break them up apart from one another, and because they need different levels of support as well. And then we can get very specific on what it is that we are healing in each of our bodies. Same thing with inner child and teen healing. If we're trying to heal one inner child, it's a lot of layers and memories we're having to work through. Okay, so if we pick a specific trauma to work on and try and trek back to when it first started or the last time that you can remember and then work your way back, it's going to make it a lot easier of a process on you. The same thing applies to chakras. Okay, once we find out what wounds that we want to work on or limiting belief, we can attach it to a chakra because that's where it's coming from in the first place and focus on one chakra at a time. And sometimes that seems like it's going to be a lot more work, but when you heal something in your root chakra, it's going to have effects on all of the other ones as well. Same thing with your heart chakra or your third eye chakra. Because pain and trauma and PTSD is not limited to one specific chakra, even though that might be the houser of where these things are coming from, it really is affecting your whole entire system. And so focusing on one sometimes does more work than trying to do all of them at once. And oftentimes you don't need to dig through the trauma. The same thing that we talked about with inner child healing. Oftentimes it's more about creating safety and helping them feel seen, heard, and validated and listening to what they have to say, holding space for their emotions in order to process them. And the same thing applies with self-limiting beliefs. So if you are learning where these originate from in your chakras through going through this content, you can say, okay, if I am dealing with my confidence, I know that that is something that is going on with my solar plexus. Okay, even though it can still go with the other ones like your root chakra because that's safety and security, and if our parents didn't give us what we needed, like encouragement and support, it can affect multitudes of chakras. But if we know that the main houser of confidence is our solar plexus chakra, it's going to be a lot easier for you to heal it, because now we can just focus on that one specifically. And there's so many different things that you can do for your chakras. It doesn't have to be sitting here and doing all this trauma work. Okay, dig. We can listen to Reiki and light language or affirmations. We can go out in the sun and ask for sun codes to be infused into our energetic system. And the reason that I'm saying this is when we put together that list of the self-limiting beliefs that we're currently working on and trying to figure out where those first started in inner child, I want you to take that same concept and apply it to the chakras. What self-limiting belief applies to what chakra? Okay, let me just focus on that one for right now. So even if you're working on confidence in your solar plexus chakra, it is going to help you with your finances in your root chakra, because that's being confident in yourself, okay? And you are money. Okay, that's something we're going to get into with quantum manifestation. But you are money. You're the same type of energy, right? So when you're more confident in yourself, you're more confident in your abilities to pull in more prosperity and abundance. Okay, so don't feel like, oh, well, if I focus on this one thing over here, then I'm going to be lacking over here, and there's other things that I need to take care of. We need to focus and center and do a little bit at a time, because that is still creating a lot of forward movement. It's going to be really beneficial for you to take that self-limiting belief list after you go through the content and go back through and say, okay, what has to do with my root chakra, my safety and security? What has to do with my sacral chakra, with my feelings and relationships with others? What has to do with my solar plexus, that is with my confidence and my willpower, my determination? What has to do with my heart chakra, with loving myself and loving others and holding boundaries? What has to do with my throat chakra, with communication and expressing myself authentically? What has to do with my third eye chakra and being able to see into my most aligned timelines and seeing the truth of who I am underneath all of the distortions, and being able to see through self-limiting beliefs and how those are not accurate for our life. Maybe we have some misconnections with our spiritual gifts or channeling our higher self and our inner children. That'll be our third eye as well. Or seeing through the truth of things. What is going on in the collective right now in all of the paradigms that are breaking down and collapsing. And then what it has to do with our crown chakra. This is our higher understandings of esoteric concepts, but also feeling connected to the collective, that it's not just us in this independent human experience, that everyone is us and we are everyone. It also understanding that the universe has your back. Okay, you're not out here alone. Once we're pinpointing what chakras correlate with what limiting beliefs or trauma wounds, PTSD through childhood or teenage years or into adult years, now we can focus on the specific chakra and do things to help it heal, regardless of whether it's trauma digging or doing some fun activities for your chakras as well. Not that trauma healing isn't fun, like that makes us feel better, but you know what I'm saying, okay? So I just want to keep that on the precipice of our mind, to be looking through those lenses of, oh, it's 11:11 on my phone. Looking through those lenses of, okay, I'm going to attach whatever I'm currently experiencing to a chakra and focus on that one, okay, for maybe a day or a couple days or a couple weeks, because I understand that that is going to help me as a whole being. For some bonus materials here, okay, it's really beneficial to eat specific foods for each one of your chakras. Our diet plays a huge role in how we are interacting with our reality, interacting with others, how we feel physically, how we're able to channel and utilize our intuition. And so there is a woman that I'm going to put resources at the end of each chakras where she goes a lot more in depth about the certain foods that you can eat. She's great and she explains it really well, and so I wanted to let her do that for everybody because that's something that she specializes in specifically. And so those will be underneath each one, like root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus chakra, and on. I'm also going to share a lot of other additional resources of people that I learned about chakras from, because again, hearing things in different perspectives is really beneficial, and they all have different tools and resources. And so I'll have those available in each individual section on each chakra, but then there will be a bigger additional resources section at the end of the lessons. Okay, babe, I am super excited to get into the chakras with you, so I will see you in the next video. What are chakras? Chakras, meaning wheel or disc in Sanskrit, are thought to be portals which the main energetics of the body flow. They are located in our astral body along our spine, and it starts at our base and runs all the way up to the crown of our head. And deeper into the course, we're going to talk about our astral body more in depth and our auric field and the different layers. Originating in India, chakras were first mentioned in the Vedas, ancient yogic and spiritual texts between 500 and 1500 BCE, though some Indian scholars believe the system can be traced back even further. The chakra system is closely linked to the practice of both yoga and Ayurveda, an ancient traditional medicine system. As you're doing research about the chakras, Ayurveda might be a term that comes up quite often, and so I wanted to provide a description so you could understand what that entails. So Ayurveda is an ancient system of holistic healing that originated in India over 5,000 years ago. It focuses on promoting health and well-being by balancing the mind, body, and spirit. Ayurveda views each individual as a unique combination of the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And it seeks to restore harmony and vitality by addressing imbalances in these elements within ourselves. It emphasizes preventative care, natural healing methods, and living in harmony with nature to achieve optimal health and longevity. Let's talk about chi, ki, or prana. They're all the same thing, different terminology. It is our life force energy. It is what flows through our chakras and our meridian lines. This is a special kind of energy that many traditions believe is everywhere around us and inside of us. It's what makes us feel alive and keeps our bodies working. You can think of it like the force that powers everything in the universe, including us. In some cultures, they say this energy flows through our bodies in specific paths, kind of like invisible rivers. When this energy flows smoothly, we feel strong and healthy, but when it's blocked or not balanced, it can make us feel unwell. Chi, ki, or prana is believed to flow through the body along specific pathways or our meridian lines. It nourishes our organs, tissues, and cells and supports the function of our body, mind, and spirit. Meridian lines are like energetic highways in our body. They're pathways where ki flows according to traditional Chinese medicine. Think of them like a network of rivers connecting different parts of your body. So we can think of our chakras like housers of specific energy, or portals, if you will, that connect our mind, body, and our spirit. And our meridian lines are what connect everything inside of us. And so that's our organs, our chakras, our tissues, our skin, our central nervous system. And chi, ki, or prana, all the same, different terms, are our life force energy that flows through our chakras and through our meridian lines to keep us functioning as a human being. When I did some research about meridian lines, I didn't even go on a super deep rabbit hole. I just did some topical research when I was first getting into Reiki and working with my chakras. It was very eye-opening because I had a better understanding of how everything is connected within us, not just physically, but also spiritually. And so if you do a little bit of a deep dive on that, it's going to help open up and expand your own meridian lines just from having self-awareness and pointing your energy and intention on them. You're going to be much more conscious of when you are feeling blocked up in your energy, in your chi, prana, ki flow, and then you're going to be able to take more steps to unblock yourself just by having the perceptual awareness of them being within you. And so I wanted to include this chart here, and you can find these on Google very easily. So we have 12 main meridian lines, but then there's also 8 extraordinary meridians, which are considered reservoirs of extra energy. Each meridian is associated with a specific organ and function of the body. Ways to clear your meridian lines: acupuncture, acupressure, Tai Chi, Qigong, herbal medicine, Reiki, and light language. When we experience PTSD and trauma in our life, or chronic stress or heightened levels of anxiety consistently, like where we're going into fight or flight or freeze or fawn. Energy that's supposed to be flowing through our body, or unprocessed emotions, right? All that stuff that's supposed to come in and come out, when it doesn't, it crystallines and hardens and gets trapped within our meridian lines. And that's where we start experiencing physical symptoms, anxiety, depression, a lot of fear, a lot of physical discomfort and pain in our body, or illness. It can create mental fog. It can disrupt your interpersonal relationships because it can create filter lenses and distortions in what you're looking through. So ultimately, what we're trying to do in our healing journey is to flush all of these things out of our system and clear our chakras, balance them, and clear out our meridian lines. So I always suggest doing a little bit of research in this area if you're wanting to dive deeper into healing yourself or understanding clients on a deeper level. And I'll share a video underneath here about meridian lines, like a brief intro, so you can get jump started in that area. The size of chakras is not fixed and can vary depending on individual perception and interpretation. Generally, chakras are often described as being about the size of someone's palm or slightly larger, but this can differ based on different traditions, teachings, and practitioners. Some practitioners perceive chakras as small, concentrated energy centers, while others may visualize them as larger vortexes, extending several inches or even feet beyond the physical body. Additionally, the size and intensity of chakras may fluctuate based on factors such as emotional state, energetic health, and spiritual development. So when you are doing research about chakras, you may find a lot of different answers. That's not always what's the most important, and it doesn't mean that one person is right and one person is wrong. It is going to vary depending on you as the individual. Like sometimes in my life, my heart chakra feels so big and expansive, and it's just encompassing the whole entire world in our community and collective and the pets and the animals and people in my life. And then other times I feel triggered. There's things going on in my 3D human life and trauma and PTSD that I'm working through, and it starts to feel a lot more small and constricted. But that's my perception. Some people say that theirs stay relatively the same size all the time, which however that you perceive them is how it is meant for you. Use your intuition and discernment. And this is something that you're going to be able to determine the more that you learn how to frequency read and energetically read yourself. Many spiritual traditions and energy healing systems recognize that we have hundreds of chakras throughout our body. They are not limited to the central axis of our body, like we see in models where it starts from the root chakra and goes all the way up to our crown chakra. They can also be found in our hands, in our feet, and other parts of our body, like we have ear chakras. For example, the palms of our hands and the soles of our feet contain important energy centers that are closely connected with our ability to give and receive energy, like healing hands, as they're called. They help us interact with the world around us and ground ourselves to the earth's energy. Many spiritual traditions work within the 12 chakra system. These additional chakras include higher vibrational centers that facilitate deep spiritual awareness and connection. These include variations of the Earth Star Chakra, High Heart Chakra, Causal Chakra, Soul Star Chakra, and Stellar Gateway Chakra. Now, this is a system that I have utilized for my own Reiki practitioner abilities and for healing myself and clients. But even within the 12 chakra system, it's going to vary what is included. They have different names, different terminology, different aspects to them, but I'm going to be teaching from the framework that I have learned and utilized in my own life and helping others. Now for Chakra Healing Part 1, the lesson that we are in currently, we are only going to be focusing on the main 7 to begin with. Okay, so once we have a better understanding of how these function, then we can move out to the transpersonal chakras. So we are going to be focusing down here to begin with the root, working our way up to the sacral chakra, solar plexus, heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye chakra, and the crown chakra up there up top. My hand started disappearing as I went up. But we are going to focus on the main 7 here. Every chakra rotates at a specific frequency and speed. This frequency and speed can change due to various factors like diet, lifestyle, emotions, thought patterns, trauma, and so on. Over here, we have a solfeggio frequency chart. So when our chakras are in balance, they can be resonating on a very low vibration. And when we listen to specific tones for specific chakras, it can help release a lot of PTSD and trauma and heaviness and crystalline energy within our meridian lines as well. And so everybody's chakras are at different speeds and different frequencies. There is no homeostasis point across the board. It depends on you as the individual. These solfeggio frequencies, however, help get them to the maximum capacity level. And not always in one shot, okay? Sometimes we have to listen to them a multitude of times, and this is not for everybody as well. I don't always listen to solfeggio frequencies depending on where my energy is and where my mindset is in the chapter of life that I'm in, but I definitely have in the past, and it has been very beneficial, and it is for a lot of other people as well. So I recommend going on YouTube. We can find these pretty much anywhere, and listening to some of these specific frequencies depending on what chakra you're working on, and you might find it really beneficial. So with our root chakra, the highest that can resonate at is 396 hertz. For sacral chakra, 417 hertz. Our solar plexus chakra, 528 hertz. That text is very small there. You'll be able to see it more clearly on the slides that you can download, okay? Or you can go on Google and type in solfeggio frequencies and find a chart like this. But definitely recommend trying it out. This is an emotional frequency chart. So when we are feeling really heavy, dense emotions like anger, sadness, frustration, fear, anxiety, those are resonating on a very low vibrational frequency. And again, we don't want to shame our emotions. We just feel however we feel, but we want to make sure that we're not staying in those states perpetually. Okay, when we looked at the solfeggio frequencies and how high a chakra can resonate frequency-wise, let's take our root chakra, for example. If we're feeling shame, that's on a vibrational frequency of 20. Guilt, 30. Apathy, 50. Very, very low. And it can go up to 396 on a frequency scale. So there's a big gap in between those. When we learn how to process and release these heavier, dense frequencies within us, it lifts our vibration and frequency as a whole being. And one of the ways that you can do that is listening to solfeggio frequencies, but a lot of other ways too that we're going to discuss, okay? But when we start to climb up the ladder, where we're feeling these higher vibrations, it not only shifts things with us internally, it shifts the things around us externally, because we can only pull in what we are a frequency match for. So if you want to have a really great relationship with money that is resonating on a high frequency, you got to be feeling a high frequency within yourself to pull in magic money. Or if you want to pull in your soul tribe members, they're going to be resonating up here more at the top of the charts. Or that new career that you absolutely love, or having great relationships with your family. You know, all of these things that we want to bring into our life, manifest into our life to bring harmony and balance and peace. This is what we're doing through learning how to clear our chakras and clear our meridian lines, clear our emotions, center our central nervous system. This is all working in tandem together. They're all connected. Can we stay up in these states way up there at the top all the time? No, because that's just part of the human experience. And how would you even experience all those things at the top if you didn't know what these lower, denser emotions are, okay? And when we experience contrast or limiting beliefs or challenges, that's what helps us grow and expand and to get into that next level identity. And through learning about the chakras, we are bringing self-awareness to the way that we function, so we can better understand how to cultivate and create these shifts in our life. Let's talk about the difference between an overbalanced chakra and an underbalanced chakra. So when a chakra is underbalanced, it means that it's insufficiently active or weakened, resulting in a lack of its positive qualities and characteristics. For instance, an underactive throat chakra might lead to difficulty expressing oneself or communicating effectively, while an underactive solar plexus chakra might result in low self-esteem or a lack of personal power. Underactive chakras can lead to feelings of stagnation, disconnection, and disempowerment. When a chakra is overbalanced, it means that it's excessively active or dominant, resulting in an overwhelming or disproportionate expression of its qualities and characteristics. For example, an overactive root chakra might manifest as excessive fear, anxiety, or obsession with security and survival, while an overactive heart chakra might lead to overly emotional or codependent behavior. Overbalanced chakras can cause an imbalance and disharmony in the overall energetic system. When you have underactive chakras, they can actually start pulling on your healthy, balanced ones in order to harmonize themselves. And when you have overbalanced ones, they can start spilling over self-limiting beliefs and PTSD and trauma into your other chakras, creating a lot of disharmony in your energetic system. Balancing your chakras is a deeply personal journey, and there's no one-size-fits-all method that works for everyone. Each individual's experiences, emotions, and environments are unique, influencing the state of their energy fields in different ways. What works for one person may not necessarily work for another. Factors such as past traumas, current stressors, and their personal beliefs can all affect the flow of energy within the chakras. It's important to explore a variety of techniques and approaches to find what best resonates with you. Some ways to balance and harmonize your chakras, which we're going to get into more on an individual level as we go through them, are meditation, yoga, Reiki and light language, EFT tapping, which I'm very excited to talk about next, sound baths, breath work, affirmations, crystals, aromatherapy, wearing the different chakra colors, eating specific foods, spending time in nature, art, music, dancing, and writing. And those are just a few examples. And I am going to meet you in the next video where we're going to talk about EFT tapping and how that relates to our chakras and practices that we are going to do together. EFT tapping is a stellar way to clear out your chakras and your meridian lines and self-limiting beliefs and emotions. It's something that I keep in my tool bag that I'll go back to every now and again. And let me tell you, one time I did this 8-day challenge, and I included the Earth Star chakra with that, but I did an 8-day challenge for my community, and I did not realize in creating all of these video tutorials how much of a giant energy release that I was going to have myself. There was so much crying and just identity shifting just from doing a couple of my own videos. And we know that anytime that we follow our own methodologies and our own tools and resources, even when we're teaching other people, you are your greatest healer. Okay, so I take that into account now anytime I start making EFT videos like this one here today, and all the practices that we're going to be doing with one another. But I thought that was funny and that I would share. Okay, so let's get into it. EFT tapping is also known as emotional freedom technique. It is a mind-body therapy that draws on the traditional Chinese medicine of acupuncture. We're not doing any type of puncturing, okay? We're doing acupressure, which is different. Okay, so it involves acupressure on your hands, face, and body with your fingertips while focusing on uncomfortable feelings or concerns and using positive affirmations to neutralize those feelings. So instead of going in with kind of the needle and doing the acupuncture method, this is where we're pushing on pressure points, okay, just pushing. But I wanted to include that because EFT tapping has come out of acupuncture originally. The human body has more than 2,000 acupoints, and these points are connected to pathways or meridian lines, which our life force energy called chi flows through. And when scientists look through a microscope at these different acupoints, they notice that they contain a high density of nerve endings, nerve fibers that control heat and cold, and have a high concentration of white blood cells. Emotions, or us as energy in motion, directly influences the body's energy system and can impact the flow of energy through our chakras. When emotions are suppressed or unresolved, they can create blockages in our chakras, leading to physical and emotional symptoms. By addressing emotions through EFT tapping and promoting the free flow of energy, we can support the balance of our chakras. Research has found that stimulating these acupoints provides a variety of brain chemicals, including endogenous opioids, which is pain-relieving chemicals, serotonin, which helps regulate sleep, mood, and memory, and gamma-aminobutyric acid, which has a calming effect on the body. EFT tapping also incorporates mental focus. One of the first steps in tapping is to identify a feeling or a situation that's bothering you and create a statement that acknowledges the feeling or problem, followed by a phrase of acceptance. For example, even though I am overwhelmed with work, I deeply and completely accept myself. And when you calm your brain and body by working with tapping, you may be more likely to accept these neutral statements as true. The issue with self-limiting beliefs is that they create this big emotional charge within us, especially if we have had evidence-based truths of that being our reality over and over and over again. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to experience that in the here and now or in the future. And so we have to give these limiting beliefs and these emotions examples of how we want our reality to be in the future, or how that's not representative of our current reality, okay? Especially if we're in a very different life than when we were children or in our teens or young adult years. So we need to discharge the emotional intensity that is coming up with these self-limiting beliefs, because like we said with subconscious mindset reprogramming, if you can shift your energy even briefly, it's going to keep you from going down a negative momentum train. This is kind of like that methodology that we talked about previously with, if we're not believing I am statements, we can say I am working on, and it's a bridge to that higher frequency, okay, and something that your subconscious is more likely to believe. And so this is where coming with neutral statements is very beneficial. Even with this example, you could say, even though I am overwhelmed with work, I am working on deeply and completely accepting myself. Now we can take a breath. Okay? Stop catastrophizing and going down fear and anxiety lanes. Okay? This is where we take a brief moment to step outside of ourselves into that higher self form and say, hey, talking to ourselves in the present, we are safe right now, okay? Let's take a brief moment to redirect our energy and say what we want to prefer instead, while still honoring and validating how we are feeling. Like we see this sentence here, even though I am overwhelmed with work, even though I am stressed, even though I'm anxious, even though I am afraid, and then inserting what we would prefer. So we're not trying to push the emotions down, because that's not helping anybody. We got to process them so they will flow through, and we know that we are not our emotions. They are just things that we are channeling. So once we acknowledge them, they're like, oh, okay, you see and hear me. Now we can make forward momentum towards a timeline that we prefer. These are the common EFT tapping points, but just like with chakras where we have hundreds of them, this is only a representative of a few EFT tapping points, but these are the ones that we are going to be focusing on as we're going through the chakras. So with each individual lesson that we're going through, root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus, heart chakra, and so on, in this section, I'm going to lead you through a video tutorial where we're going to focus on EFT tapping for each chakra. And don't worry, you do not have to memorize this, okay? We're going to do it together in the videos. And if you want to find some different charts, you can go on Google. There's many different types, okay? But I want to showcase these so you can get a sneak preview of what it's going to look like. Now, when we are tapping, we do not want to hit ourselves hard, okay? These are light taps where you're still feeling them. It's still, pressure on you, but we're going to take it easy peasy while we are doing it. Now, again, EFT tapping can bring up a lot of emotions. It can bring up a lot of PTSD and trauma. So we want to make sure that we're doing this when we have time and space and energy. Maybe not right before work or right before we need to go pick up our kids, right? It's a form of energy healing and releasing, and everybody feels it in different intensity levels. Sometimes people are like, oh, I feel so much lighter and, my vibration is great. And then other times, here come the waterworks because you have a lot of unprocessed things. And so we just want to make sure that we have space to do some grounding after the tapping and drinking a lot of water. It can make you feel really sleepy. Sometimes it can make you feel irritable. Okay, when I was doing all of those EFT challenging videos, I got very irritable because I didn't realize how intense it was going to be watching my own videos back and processing through my stuff. And so just a heads up, Make sure that you're treating this like an energy healing practice, okay? So we're gonna go top of our head, and we're gonna go in between our eyes. You don't have to do it right now. This is just an example, okay? In between our eyes, the sides of our head, underneath our eyes, above our lip, here on our chin, and do here on our collarbone, and then we're gonna do here on our rib, and you can do it on either side, it's okay. We're gonna karate chop on one hand, and then karate chop on the other hand, right about here. And those are the points that we're going to work with in all of the EFT tapping videos. So I will see you in the next one where we're going to talk about harmonizing our root chakra. Now, before we get into the chakras, there is something that I want to mention that I meant to put in the video prior. Okay, so with EFT tapping, what we are meant to do is say our negative statements of how we are currently feeling so that we can acknowledge them and then come in with a neutral statement or the affirmation or the thing that makes us feel better, steering us towards our more positive timeline. However, in the tutorials that we are going to be doing together in all individual chakras, we are simply going to be focusing on the positive affirmations. And that is because some of the things that we're going to be talking about with each of the chakras is going to be heavy and dense. We're going to be talking about a lot of PTSD and trauma and things that come up from childhood. And so I want to leave the end of each section in a positive high note. Okay, so when you do your own research about EFT tapping, you're going to see it done a little bit differently. And because this is such an individual experience, me saying the more negative statement in the beginning to neutralize, it may not be in resonance with the things that you are currently experiencing. This is something that you can put in your tool bag and tailor to your own life. And so I wanted to say that as a stipulation before we get into it, in case you go and watch other EFT practitioners. But because we're already going through a lot of those processes and talking about the chakras already, we're going to end on a positive note, lifting our vibration and frequency with the video tutorials together. Welcome to harmonizing your root chakra, and up here we have a diagram depicting where all of the chakras are held within our physical body. And so we have our root chakra down there at the bottom, which is located at the base of our spine near our pelvic area. This is typically associated with the color red, symbolizing vitality, survival, and the life force energy that grounds us to the physical world. This is our I am chakra, and the element is earth, representing stability, solidity, and our connection to the material realm. Not just material items, okay, like this pin here, but the actual earth itself, Mother Gaia, us being human beings, and the 3D plane. The meaning is associated with our sense of security, safety, and basic survival needs. It governs our feelings of being grounded, rooted, and anchored in life. Let's get into the developmental stage. And so believed to occur during the early stages of life, particularly in infancy and early childhood. This developmental period is crucial for establishing a sense of security, safety, and stability. This is when infants' basic survival needs are being met. These include nourishment like food, shelter, warmth, and protection. When caregivers provide consistent and nurturing care, the child learns to trust their environment and develops a sense of safety and security. The quality of early attachment and bonding experiences between the child and their primary caregivers plays a significant role in the root chakra development. Secure attachment relationships characterized by responsiveness, warmth, and emotional attunement help to foster a sense of safety and trust in the child. And remember in the lesson where we talked about different attachment styles, if we are not getting the things that we need, that's when we can develop anxious, avoidant, or fearful attachment styles. Establishing stable routines and environments during childhood also contributes to root chakra development. Consistent routines for feeding, sleeping, and caregiving provide a sense of predictability and security for the child, helping them feel grounded and anchored in their surroundings. Even though kids may say that they do not like routines, my son will say that all the time. Why do we have to do all these things all the time? It helps keep us on track. It helps keep us grounded and centered. It helps us with our overall well-being. And it's also setting us up for success when we get older and we're on our own in our independent lives. Now we're going to get into the physical symptoms that one can experience if they have an imbalanced root chakra. Now, these physical symptoms, energetic symptoms, self-limiting beliefs that we're going to be going over can have overlaps in other chakras as well, but the root chakra for the following that we're going to get into is the main houser for where these things are birthed from. Lower back pain, leg cramps, issues with your sciatic nerve, problems with feet and ankles, digestive issues such as constipation, diarrhea, or irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, because our root chakra is linked to our intestines and our stomach as well. You can have feelings of lethargy, fatigue, or a general sense of weakness or exhaustion. People can experience reproductive issues such as infertility, menstruation, irregularities, or sexual dysfunction, poor circulation, cold extremities, or issues with blood pressure regulation. You can have a weakened immune system where you get sick really easily. You're more susceptible to infections, illnesses, or autoimmune disorders. And I didn't put in the slides here, but you can also have issues with your sinuses that are related to things going on in your root chakra, even though that seems like it'd be something with your throat or your third eye because it's closer up here. It's actually related more so with your root chakra because that is representative of our physical body, whereas throat chakra and your third eye chakra a little bit more ethereal and having to do with your mental and spiritual bodies. So if you're experiencing sinus things, focus on your root chakra. It is 222 on my phone. Okay, we're going to talk about the energetic symptoms that one can experience with an imbalanced root chakra. Feelings of ungroundedness or disconnected from the present moment. We just don't feel safe being present in our body. You may feel floaty, scattered, or mentally foggy, lacking a sense of stability and rootedness in your physical body and in the environment. You can have heightened feelings of fear, anxiety, or insecurity. You may experience irrational fears. That can be catastrophizing sometimes, or going to the negative what ifs, or a constant sense of unease stemming from a lack of trust in self or in the world around us. Individuals may struggle with financial insecurity, scarcity mentality, or difficulty in managing their finances. Because we have money as an exchange in the collective and in our communities, that has to do with our survival, because that's how we purchase food and pay our bills and commute and do all the things that we want to do. But when we have a lack of it, that can be coming from an imbalance in the root chakra. So I want to give a couple different examples of how money can affect us depending on what chakra it is. So with root chakra, if we never have enough, that's coming from root. If we feel like we have just enough to get by, that's coming from sacral chakra. When we get up to our solar plexus, that's us taking action towards opening our channels of prosperity and abundance so more can flow through. When we get up to our heart chakra, that's where we start understanding that money is a frequency. It is an energy, just like you. It's made out of the same stuff, okay, out there in the cosmos. And so when you understand that it is a love frequency, when you start to love yourself, you start to love your relationship with money, money starts loving being around you. Okay? That's when you can get in an energetic alignment in order to easily manifest money, where you don't have to hustle and grind like with your solar plexus. Okay, so I wanted to share those couple of different examples that helps you have a different perspective about your relationship with finances right now and what chakras that might be influencing your financial relationship and which chakra that you can work on with your money in order to enhance it and bring more into you. And under this video, I'm going to share a resource that explains that concept more in depth, and then we're going to take a deeper dive into it as well later on in the course. People may feel constantly on edge, tense, or hypervigilant as their energy system is stuck in a state of fight or flight or freeze or fawn due to perceived threats of survival. This can lead to chronic stress and overwhelm. And remember what we talked about in central nervous system, what we are perceiving as threats sometimes are not actual threats. Like getting an email from your boss, your kids getting all frenzied before you go take them to school or work, or your mother-in-law calling you. It can be so many different things that our central nervous system cannot determine the difference between those things and a tiger chasing us. We can even be so extremely stressed and anxious about things that are going to potentially happen in the future. Worst case scenarios, catastrophizing, and it's a way to keep ourselves safe, okay, from an evolutionary physiology standpoint, but sometimes those things become a self-fulfilling prophecy. An imbalanced root chakra can lead to a lack of motivation, drive, or initiative. Individuals may struggle to set goals, take action, or assert themselves in the world, feeling stuck or stagnant in their personal or professional lives. Individuals might feel disconnected from their bodies, experiencing numbness, disassociation, or a sense of alienation from physical sensations and experiences. Just like we talked about in emotions and even in inner child healing, sometimes it hasn't been safe for us to experience and feel and process our emotions. And so that can cause a sense of dissociation when we have PTSD or trauma memories come up, or when something triggers us in the current. And so we start having emotions like we did when we were a child or teens or young adult years. And so that's when we get in those loops where we're not actually feeling safe to be in our physical body. An unbalanced root chakra can make it challenging to establish healthy boundaries with others. Individuals may struggle to assert themselves, say no to others' demands, or maintain a sense of personal sovereignty, leading to issues with codependency or people-pleasing behaviors. Trust is a fundamental aspect of the root chakra, encompassing trust with oneself, others, and the universe. When this chakra is imbalanced, individuals may struggle with trust issues, skepticism, or cynicism, making it difficult to form authentic connections or cultivate meaningful relationships. Now let's talk about what it feels like to have a balanced root chakra. Individuals feel deeply grounded and rooted into their physical bodies in the present moment. We're not thinking about the past. We're not thinking about the future. We're here in the now. And that's not to say not to think about the future, because we love that, okay? Especially if we have big goals that we're wanting to achieve. But there is something to be said about being here now, like Eckhart Tolle says, okay? Because that's where we're actually creating our reality from. There is no past, there is no future, but we'll get into that with time not being linear, okay? People with a balanced root chakra have a strong connection to the earth and Mother Gaia and feel supported by the solid foundation of their existence. Individuals trust in themselves, in their abilities, and the universe to provide for their basic needs, allowing them to navigate challenges with confidence and resilience. And when I say basic needs, I do not mean bottom of the barrel, okay? We're not pining for scraps. This is having a nice home, great relationships with our family members and our friends, having a career that we really enjoy. And with a balanced root chakra, individuals are adept at establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries in their relationships and interactions with others. They have a clear sense of self-worth and are able to assert their needs and boundaries with grace and assertiveness. They feel secure in their material resources and are able to manage their finances effectively without fear or scarcity mentality. They are able to navigate life's ups and downs, knowing that they have the inner resources to handle whatever comes their way. There is a deep sense of belonging and interconnectedness with all of life. Individuals feel a sense of kinship with others and a recognition of shared humanity. We're going to talk about some self-limiting beliefs that we can have come up when we have an imbalanced root chakra. And then we're going to talk about affirmations as well. So, if I depend on people, they may abandon or hurt me. You have to struggle to survive. I'm not good enough. I'm not valuable. Nothing ever works out for me. I have to do what my family expects of me. I do not feel safe. I will always live paycheck to paycheck. Conversely, when we have a balanced root chakra, affirmations that we may say over ourselves, believe, decide over our reality is I am financially secure. I am independent. I am protected in this world. I am rooted in the present moment. I am exactly where I need to be. My body always takes care of me. I am loved and supported by the people around me. Now let's talk about the ways to balance our root chakra. And remember, these are just a few examples, okay? It's going to be really beneficial for you to go out and do your own research, because you might find things that are more resonance with your lifestyle and that you enjoy. But these are a great place to start, okay? So we're going to practice meditation techniques focused on grounding. Remember, our root chakra has to do with our physical body in this human incarnation. Maybe meditations that help you visualize roots extending from your body into the earth, or imagining yourself surrounded by a protective cocoon of grounding energy. You can incorporate yoga poses that activate and strengthen the root chakra, such as mountain pose, tree pose, and warrior pose. You can work with grounding crystals such as hematite, black tourmaline, and red jasper to absorb excess energy, release blockages, and promote stability and security. You can use grounding essential oils such as patchouli and cedarwood, and work with grounding smoke like sage, incense, and palo santo. I have some incense and palo santo going over here actually while I'm doing these videos because it's keeping me grounded. You can receive massage therapy, acupuncture, or acupressure, reflexology treatments focus on the lower body to relieve tension and improve circulation. Take practical steps to address areas of insecurity or instability in your life, such as creating a budget, setting boundaries in your relationships, or establishing a daily routine, like we do with children, to promote a sense of safety and security. You can surround yourself with the color red. Clothes that you wear, your hair color, home decor, jewelry, or maybe your nail polish. You can spend time in natural environments such as forests, parks, or gardens to absorb the earth's grounding energy and connect with the rhythms of the natural world. We are Mother Gaia's children, just like plants and animals. We are not meant to be indoors all the time under these fluorescent lights. We need to go outside and get some fresh air and be in the sunshine and around the trees. That green vibrancy energy really does help us feel a lot more prosperous and abundant. Now we are at our discovery assignment, so we're going to have some journal prompts to help harmonize and balance our root chakra. So we're going to get out our journal and ask ourselves the following questions. What in my external world helps me feel safe? What about in my internal world? In the middle of a busy and hectic day, what can I do to help myself feel more centered? It can be something that's 5 or 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be 2 hours, okay? As somebody who likes to do the most, I have to remind myself just 5 or 10 minutes can make a huge shift in the rest of our day. What does strength mean to me? What makes me feel strong? That can be either physically strong, spiritually, mentally, or emotionally strong. In what ways does my body take care of me? You know, sometimes we forget that our body is doing all of these incredible things to allow us to have this human experience. And so you remember when we talked about splitting up the 4 energy bodies? Sometimes our physical body really needs us to love it and appreciate it, thank it, honor it, and it can function even on a greater scale, okay? It's nice to be appreciated and for people to tell you thank you. And so that's something that we can do for our physical body, but also our spiritual, mental, and emotional body as well. Welcome to EFT tapping to balance and harmonize our root chakra. So we want to remember that this is an energy healing practice. So we want to do it when we have time and energy to drink a lot of water afterwards, where we can have some processing of emotions if those come up. We do a grounding activity to help us get back in our body. A reminder that it might make us a little sleepy or irritable, or maybe it really lifts your vibration and frequency. It affects everyone differently, and however it does for you is exactly how it's meant to. And you can do this once, you can do it multiple times. You can find different EFT tapping practitioners on YouTube that work specifically with the root chakra. This is a great jumping point. But remember, we're doing light taps when we are putting pressure, okay? So I'm gonna say an affirmation over you while you tap on the same point as me. So I'll say it first and then you say it after, and then we'll move on to the next, okay? So we are going to take a big grounding breath in through our nose and gently breathe out through our mouth. And Another big breath in through our nose. And gently breathe out through our mouth. We're going to start on the top of our head here. My inner children feel safe and loved. My inner children feel safe and loved. And then we're going to move here in the middle of our forehead, okay, in our temple. I trust in the process of life. I trust in the process of life. Now we're going to move to the side of our temples here. All of my needs and desires are met and more. All of my needs and desires are met and more. And let's move to underneath our eyes here. My body is healthy and vibrant. My body is healthy and vibrant. Okay, now above our lips, deep inner peace is my natural state. Deep inner peace is my natural state. Okay, then we move to our chin here. It feels safe to be taken care of. It feels safe to be taken care of. Now we can go to our collarbones. I am connected to all that is around me. I am connected to all that is around me. And then we'll go to our ribs. You can pick either side that you want, okay? I am courageous and I am strong. I am courageous and I am strong. We'll do our first karate chop. I am supported by Mother Earth. I am supported by Mother Earth. And we'll move to our other hand here. I am at home in my body. I am at home in my body. Okay, we're going to take a big breath in through our nose and take a breath out through our mouth. And we can say, thank you so much, body, for always taking care of me. I love you. You are appreciated. And I honor you. And remember to do a grounding activity and drink some water afterwards. And I would love to hear in the text box underneath what came up for you with your feelings, emotions, or your thoughts.